So welcome back everyone. We've been going through our Java plus Python and all that we're doing. You'll also find that on QTP Learn Teams. So I want you to make sure that you're constantly working on these, please, in terms of videos when we are offline. So the playlist for the current Java Python, I'm going to share it with you all. So please make sure you're watching them consistently. I put that in the chat right now. I will also put it in here so you can access. So team, let's continue from where we left yesterday. There are going to be a few important ones to discuss and progress, and slowly we're going to increase the speed at which we go. So let's open up our Eclipse, and I think this is the workspace where we had our first project yesterday or the before day, and we created a couple of basic code. And the most important aspect of what we were trying to do in this session was introduce you to variables. So this, keep it in mind in a very strong manner, team, because variables is end of the day the most critical aspect. They will help us to store data. You have a name to the variable and a value. You call the name, you get the value. So when you know that your code may change, so what we have to do is wherever the code has to change, let us put them there. Now see, there are three aspects in variable declarations. Just a simple one, new Java class. I'll say J03 underscore simple math. Keep a main method, say okay, delete whatever I continue. Now there are three aspects, team. First is called the declaration. The declaration is saying what is it. So I'll say string is an X. Okay. There is something called as an int, and I'll say that is an I, for example, or string S1, integer I1, and do I want to give anything else right now? Double I'll come to later. Let's just do some simple ones. That'll give us some breathing room to move forward. So what are we saying, team? S1 can hold a value. So S1 equals some dummy data, and I1 equals an integer. Now 100 is an integer for me. That's the perspective, the way I look at it. Okay. Now what happens clearly for us is the fact that it does not take I1 as 100 like this. It says you declare I1 as an integer, cannot put a string to it. So what does that mean? I1 equals 100 should be without strings. Anything inside this double quotes becomes a string. Remember that, be it a number, be it data, alphanumeric, whatever. Once you say, if I say, for example, now, I don't know why this error is, we'll see. Once I say S1 is, for example, or I can say string S2 equals KK at blah, blah, blah. Whatever I want. Now this is content. Whatever be the data, I want it to be loaded with. What's wrong with I1 is 100? Can anyone look at this and tell me what possibly could be wrong? I saw two answers so far. Mahmood, Pinky, Tampu, Nath, Mahmood, Umair, Venkat, Shiva, Manasa. I'm seeing your answers. How about the others? Why is there an issue on line 11? It's a very simple human error, team. I said here II, okay, and here I'm saying I1. So instead of this, I'll say my int, a better name. It's easier for me to understand, though longer. I'll say my string, or I can say my text, whatever data. It's my content. I will put the name I want. Okay. So for example, you'll put your dad or mom's or your home or kids numbers. You'll not save them with their first and last names, right? You would say mom, dad, and so on. That's the same way, team. You decide how you want to save that and using what you want to call it. Now, the next step is use the data. Why create if you don't use it? So there are 3 steps. First step is declare. In Java, I have to mention the type of variable. Think of it like you go to a gas station, you have 3 different types of fuels. Different cars need different grades of fuel, correct? So you get to choose what that type is. So declaring it. The second is called initializing. Initialize, please. Put some initial data into it. The third is to use that. So here I'll start printing. I'll say this is O. It's a shortcut for printing the entire system.out.println. ln is just type sys and do a control space. Type sys control space. The whole thing will come. And here I'll say my text is colon plus my text. Look at the difference, everyone with me. Do you understand what we're doing? This is a text. Whatever you give, my text or my actual text, doesn't matter. The key is this variable. So remember not to make mistakes here. For some of you, your experience and season, this may look very, very basic. So excuse me that I have to go through that. Now, this is my integer. My number is, and here I'll say my int. So I'm able to print statements. I'm using this data. I also have string s2. I'm just gonna, here what I'm doing is declare and initialize. Come on. In the same line. Okay, let me explain this once again. Yes, I always like camel case team, because camel case for me is easy to understand rather than underscore, which makes it longer. So when I want to focus, it's my reading ability, my text. So what is a camel case? I will give you as an assignment. Take an input text and convert into a camel case. I'm going to do this today. Okay. Right. Now let's see. See, I told you option 1 in Java. Declare. Step 1. Step 2 is initialize. Step 3 is to use the data. And then comes another way. What is this? A different way. Declare and initialize in the same line. This is another option too. Now look at how strict my Java line is. Okay? For example, I'm declaring my text here, correct? What if I comment this line? Line 12 and line 17 have gone for a toss straight away. Why? Because, hey, you're using something called my text. I don't even know what my text is. I don't know what type it is. How do you want me to put something? So far, we've only learned 2 types of data variables. One is a text, anything that comes in a string, double quotes. Okay. The other is an integer that's specifically a number like a 10, 12, and so on. Positive or negative, no decimals. That is the integer. Okay. Now, with this numbers here, it is very important to initialize, then assign value, and then use. Now, look at what if I skip the initialization. Then it will say, okay, you declared what is my text. It is a string, so you can put any type of characters into it. Very good. What did you put into it? Nothing so far. How will you expect me to print something then? That is the problem. All these communications back are called syntax errors. It basically says Java or Python is confused what you are trying to say. It's like you go to a new country, you've taken a book, you've done some quick learning, some translation, like maybe Spanish or Japanese and so on. You reach there, you think you're right, you're speaking something to communicate, but every local there is laughing at you because you lost the syntax. Your syntax is very funny, maybe for humans. Java basically says, I give up. Now, I need those steps, team. Initialize, make sure there's value into it, and so on. Now, look at this. Why is there a problem on line 13? Can anyone tell me, please? And I'm a very, very ardent fan of this detailed focus. There's no developer who's not gone through very pixel level focus. Where is the issue on? See, the IDE called Eclipse helps us to tell where it is nicely. Now you have to tell me, why is there an issue? Exactly. How can I skip declaration and then put data into it? It has to go in that step. Declare, initialize, use. Declare, initialize, use. Otherwise, it cannot. That is how Java is saying. So what is my integer now? Integer I1. That's the name. Now good, everyone. Why does it still have a problem? I did declare it. I declared it, right? Then what's the problem? If you declare integer as I1 or I1 as an integer, you cannot have quotes around it. If you have quotes around it, it becomes string. That's it. If you remove the quotes, it's fine. Or you want the quotes, let us say, then you say this is a string. Then that is fine. Now, what is the issue on line 10? So, syntax errors shows in red in our IDE. You need to fix before executing the test. Now, what am I doing? I'm lost for a second. Give me a second. When was I? Eclipse. So here, why is there a issue on line 10? I see something on line 10. See, red line highlight then, now it's yellow. What's the issue? It's primarily a warning saying need not fix, need to. No, it's not need to, it's need not fix, just a suggestion or information. Okay. So for example, what is the issue on line 10? Anyone can tell me? Or line 23? Declared and initialized, not used. Why? What is the point of declaring a variable, putting data into it and not using it? If your program does not use it, then what's the problem? What's the point in it? If I write, understand the small nitty-gritty scheme that we're trying to look into, and I say S2, then that line went away. See that yellow mark on line 23. Now it will come back again. S2 did not get used. That is all it is saying. The same here, string I1, you take your mouse, it will tell the value of the local variable I1 is not used anywhere. So do you want me to remove I1 and all assignments? Remove I1. So here, not even initialized. Just declared, not initialized, not used. Initialized. So that's just a warning, no problem with it, but you need to be aware of it. The same simple concept, how do I do it in Python? Everyone ready? So we wrote a couple of code yesterday. There's nothing much we did. Now let's do Python 3. So file new, Python file, and py03 underscore. What was the name I gave you? Simple math. It's a simple math. There's not much that I'm doing to start with, but just to showcase to you. So let's create 3 variables in this case. No declaration needed. Now, why is there some red line on line 1 team? Can anyone tell me? Because comments in Python start with a pound and not 2 forward slashes. So I can just say A equals to hello 1 2 3. B equals to 100 or 1000. C equals to 123.45. Now look at this. I'm sorry. No declaration. Straightforward initialization. So the question should come, how does Python know what type is each variable? So what it does is very simple. So I can say print A and B, print C. Good to start with a very simple code like this. So make sure, see team, here you'll see py02, that's the old code. So if you're not on the right code, just make sure you right click on the code, say run this Python program. So now what happened? Hello 123,000, 123.45. Okay, so we've got what we wanted. Now look at what I want to do. What type are each of it? How does Python know what type? So instead of printing like this, I'll say print type of A is comma type of A. There are very subtle, simple statements in Python, unlike Java, where you do a little bit advanced coding for each of them. Just say I put 3 numbers and each of them are 3 variables, no declaration, not if needed, is needed for any variables. But now look at what we will get as the output. Can anyone tell me how many print statements we will get lines? We have 3 earlier. How many will you get now? May sound absolutely basic and simple questions, team, but answer it, your blood and adrenaline will increase automatically. You'll get more involved, guys. 6 perfect. Yes. 3 no. 3 already we had. See, that's where focus. Don't make a mistake. Even those small simple errors will make us go back and do more. So we have 3 print statements here. 3. I'm expecting 6. That should be my thinking before I click here and take the help to run. Always first run it in your mind, what you expect to see. Okay. Then you click the run and see what you get. See how fast it is done. Hello 123,000, 123.45. Type of A is class string. Type of B is class int. Type of C is class float. So Python basically assigns the class based on values. Now look at what I will do. All of you focus. Okay, this is in Python only right now. I know I'm still with variables. I cannot skip variables and just go to if conditions and for loops and so on. I want to stay here. Now I'm changing this. Again, I'm going to repeat the whole code in fact. Right? So how do I better organize this? I'll say code 1. All right. And then I'll write one more here somewhere. Code 2. There we go. Looks good, everyone. And always make sure as you keep writing your code that it gets beautiful. So yes, thank you for the question. So what are we doing here? This print statement that is inbuilt within Python is a command that takes whatever is there here and prints it into our output run. Okay? What I see or Python sees in here is there is the first part that is there as a string in double quotes, and then there's the other part here. The other part is nothing but it takes whatever you give in it and says what type is it. Is it an int or a string or a float and so on. And now what I will do, team, A has become 123, 12.345. B has become 123x. And C has become. Now observe our print statements. Hello 123. A is string, B is int, C is float. Now I'm going to rerun this. So A is string, B is int, C is float. How about here? A has become float, B has become string, C has become integer. So Python does not matter what you declare it as. Once you keep on adding value into it, it will take the latest type and put it. This type command defines the variables. So the concept of variables is very simple, team. There are different types of variables. String, anything alphanumeric in double quotes. Then we have integer, that is positive or negative numbers, no decimals. Then we have a float or a double, which have decimals into it. Then there are types called Boolean, which has only two values, true or false. We will come and explore that. So as we go through the sessions, we'll explore more and more of variables. Okay. Any questions so far, anyone? So some primary code that you saw. I see a hand raised. You want me to unmute you? Let me see, please. Thank you. Hi, Shiva, you have a question for us?
So class just now started, like the code was written already, so we got confused actually.
Sorry, can you repeat that a little louder for me?
Class just now started because like code was written already, so we got confused. Like the class just now started.
I'm so sorry, team. Yes, we actually, there was a go-to meeting confusion. We started about 15 minutes back. And if it is okay, I'll be recording. I'll give you a quick overview of what we did.
Can you give us quick overview, please?
Sure, I will do that. And Shraddhanjali asked me, what does initialization mean? Okay, sure, I'll answer that. Okay, let's go team. Team. So in Java, what I did is it's a simple math. In this, the whole interest is about what and how we look at values. So the first one in Java, it's very important that we declare by saying what is the type of the variable. Then comes the initialization where we put some data into it. Then we get to use. That is the step. So if I do not declare, I cannot put value into it or initialize or use the data. And if I did not put value or initialize, then I cannot use the data. So that is the flow for Java it takes. Declare, initialize, and use. Option 2 is you can declare and initialize in the same line and use it. The same concept. So in here, I showed only two types. One is a text that has either dummy data and a number called 100. So how do I print that? And I'll say my actual text is plus the name of the query. My number is plus the name of that number. So these are the ones. As I highlighted, you'll also see them getting highlighted here. Now the same exact thing, I try to replicate in Python. So what I did is in very simple steps. Only this first 15 lines to start with. There's no declaration. Straight away we do, let's see, straight initialize is my initialization. We just put values. Type is taken based on what you put into it. So that is the difference in Python. So it's easy to get started putting statement. So I just said A is so and so, B is so and so, C is so and so. Printed all three, and I'm printing the type of. So just a first thing called what is it, right? And it prints out to me. The second code is same variables A, B, C. So initially A had a value. See, A had a value called hello whatever. Now A has a value called 12.345. Okay, so that change here that we made is basically also changing the type of way from a string here to a double or a float here because it's got decimals into it. So that is the primary difference. Nothing more to focus on it. Take it as is. Let's do one more example in the same. So let us say I create one more, a simple one. And I like to write beautiful code. Let's see if we can write some good looking. How does a good looking code look? It does not have anything extra to begin with. Everything is well organized. So what is it that I want to write? Let us say add two numbers and get me the result. So how do I add two numbers? So I'll say int x comma y. Now what are these, team? Write your English. Declared my two initial variables. So these will have the initial variables. So why is there a issue on line 6, that yellow mark? Because I have not initialized it. To initialize, I'll say x equals to 10, y equals to 20. Fair enough? Now declare my output variable. Now I have a smart one called int z. Just go z. So I'll say sum of x and y is, see, How should I say it in Z equals X plus Y? And I'm going to print this and say X plus Y. What if I say X plus plus? See, look at this. I'm just complicating the print statement a little. Plus Y equals plus Z. Look at this, team. How I'm trying to write that simple code. I have three variables, int x, y, and int z. Sure, I can always create a better program and create all these three variables in the same line. Like what? Int a, comma b, comma c. That's fine too. No problem. You can alternately also create like this the flare saying int a equals to 10 equals to 20 and c equals to 30. So it gives you multiple options. Your talent or skill is not about the different ways you can do it. What is your core logic? What is it that you find? Look at my program, look at my logic. I have data in here and I'm saying, one second. I'm sorry. I'm saying X, Y have values 10 and 20, and there's a Z. Z, all that I'm doing is I'm printing the sum of. Look at the way I'm doing. This is a simple formula. Z equals to X plus Y. The same plus that we used earlier was used to concatenate, to text or append this string to this, whatever we have. The one we are using here is a mathematical operation. Java just knows from the fact if there are strings, I will join them. If there are numbers, I will add them. Okay, that's the logic. If strings, use plus to join slash append slash concatenate. Concatenate should be right. Okay. If numbers, use plus to add. That's as simple as. Now, when I say here x plus, that means I am taking an integer called x with a value 10 and using that value here. So when I say plus, automatically it is concatenating it as a string variables. And it will print this space plus and space. So my output will actually look something like 10 plus 20 equals to 30. That is how I want my output to be. Now let's run this and see. You notice this 10 plus 20 equals 10. The same one, I can change my values here. And I'm each time able to get a different result. I could give some crazy ones as well. Okay. And then what would happen, team? There is an error. And the simplest reason is very simple. I declared them as an integer. How do you expect me to run them as a with decimals? Okay. So no decimals allowed for integers. Let's keep it the way it is. Now let's rerun this. That code changed. That's good. I've done the sum of it. Let's try and experiment with a few more things. Like what? How about multiplying? Is it 1, 2? Z equals to product of. So x star 1. And we already know the logic about this, so I don't need to talk too much. And I just have this. Now let's see. Do we get what we want? Is our program running correctly, everyone? Do you think it's running fair? Is the result correct? Yes or no is an answer. There are no two answers to it. You either tell me it's a yes or you tell me it's a no. Do you see the correct result? I'm giving you 3 seconds, everyone. The ones who won't answer, I'll remember your name for the next session. That you have not answered this. It cannot be both. There's only yes or a no. Is the program correct? The team, I've not asked for a suggestion or a solution. The answer must be yes or a no. That's it. Clear. There is no second thought to it. Why why are you giving more than a no or a yes, some of you? You want to be safe with your answer. Oh, maybe yes, but maybe no. Because of this, everyone knows. But then when you're asked to give a yes or no, give it based on it. The answer is no, absolute no. It's absolute rubbish, pathetic, the worst code anyone would have ever written. Is that clear? Everyone who said yes, so please correct yourself and get your pixel-based laser vision correctly. Is 100 plus 200 200,000? Are you kidding me, everyone? And what is it that you observed? A program must be 100% correct. That is a humongous difference. Absolutely right. So see where we can make simple errors. Let's avoid them. And as a team, even when I'm doing live sessions, I tend to make a lot of mistakes. So your duty is to correct me on. Now, done. Correct? Looks better? Subtraction. Correct? Subtraction of. Please excuse my English on that in case subtraction of x and y is x minus 1 and x minus y is z. Now, very nice. And then finally, let's do you know any other operators in math? X divided by y is 1 forward slash. Solve. Yeah. And team, no one has to be apologized. If you know where you made a mistake, that's cool. Now see, z is x plus y. So I'm seeing 100 plus 200 is 300, 100 start 200 is 2000, 220,000, sorry, 100 times 200. 100 minus 200 is minus 100, that is correct. Now z equals to x, z x by x is 100, 100 by 200 should be 0.5. Why does it give me 0 t? Gives without decimals t. So to test it better, look at this. If you're a good developer, you'll keep changing your code. Oh, it works for this small this way. Let's try something that they cannot divide by or do anything much. Okay? So something like this. There'll be a lot of decimals in this case. Now what happening? See, 123 by 11. What is 11 times 11, everyone? Can everyone give me the correct answer on that? 11 times 11. I don't care if you use calculator or anything. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 square is 100. 11 square is 121 thing. So please remember squares, everyone. Okay? 121. So if 121 by 11 is 11, then how can 123 by 11 be 11? Because that int z is no longer a decimal. So we have to look at convert variable types as and then mean. So we need to convert it and say that, oh, you know what, this is different variable. So now the same thing if I say is a double x, y, z is over, so I'll start with a equals same x by y I'm doing a declaration and the initializing in the same line. It has a problem on line 39 because I've not used it anywhere. So now if I say the same statement and try and use this as A here and rerun this code, I want each and every one of you team to please replicate the same thing. What is wrong with this? Let's try the flow. It's still giving me, I think it's too close a number as well. Let's increase this. It's too big a number. Just experiment, play around. Even if you're able to replicate to a large extent what we're doing here, that's, I don't know why I'm not getting more decimal spaces than 1 as of now. I'm sure they're not perfect. It's like 17 into 731 is not going to be 12 for. Let's see. What am I trying to? 17 times the 731. Random numbers that you were playing with. 12, 4, 2, 7. Close to it, but not the same. So I expected decimal space to be here. Let's increase this to 175. It's still rounding it off. We'll come to this team. Where is it rounding? Why is it not giving me more decimals? But the idea is very simple. Now the same code, I want to do it in Python. Good, everyone? Just a simple one. Are you all with me, team? Sure, Divya, just bring it up for me in a couple of sessions, please. I'll explain. Ting, 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 ting. Modular and all these are good ones. Okay, so what do I want to do? I have 3 variables. What is that? X equals to 10, y equals to, let's say 121. Okay. Now z equals x plus y. I'm not using too many comments and print statements here, team, because we know what we're trying to do. The print statement is going to be the exact same one. So there's no change. So as you write, you would have your own notion as to which seems to be a better tool or programming, which is giving you more comfort. So I've wrote a simple one. I want to test it before I go forward. The reason I run it, team, I know the basics are there, and it makes it easy for me to come back and re-execute. But did you see this? Every time we do a successful run, like simple math, you will see it will exit with a code 0. Exit code 0 is basically no failures. The same thing when I ran the latest one, it said it failed somewhere. And that is why it says exit code. So the problem here, if you see, is it's saying that on line 5 it had an issue. So if you click on this, it should take you to line 5, saying print unsupported operand type as for plus intent string. So what do we use in Python instead of a plus? What do we use in Python? Print or concatenate strings, we use a comma D. Okay, not a plus sign. So say this I'm sending, and I'm sending this, I'm sending this, then I'm sending this. I don't need to use a plus sign anymore. Just say what all you're sending one after the other without any plus signs or breaks. Now let's try the same. So your ability to consistently look at the programs, why they are failing, be able to debug them in a small capacity and produce results is very critical. So the same, I'll say x minus y. I'll change this to minus. Speed of programming or anything is something you derive over a period of time. First comes the accuracy. Okay. Let us say you're an awesome driver, but you fail most of the time, car driving. Does it make sense to you? So it does not matter if you can drive short or long distance, at least learn driving correctly first. Now, this is my code in comparison to Java. Python code will always look smaller, simpler, easier to manage, and it may have all those, more detailed ways that we can get to. Of course, it's come a little bit more later than Java, so it would have learned from where Java can be improved and implemented. But this is the basic structure of it. Any questions, anyone? Can we do one more? Now this is going to be a little interesting. I'll still play with members. I actually have GitHub account. Let me see one second. I want to see if there's any programs I can show. What am I trying to do? Let's do it here. Just trying to look at my GitHub library of programs. We're doing the Python. I'll start with Python this time and let's go to Java and do the same, or you can do. Okay. I don't know if I want to go back to bank or if I want to go on maths. Give me a second. I'm thinking. It makes sense on the banking one. So let's say bank. Now here's my clear declaration of what I want. User login. User checks balance. User makes withdrawal / deposit. So the way you need to handle this team is very, very clear. And I'll keep it simple for the first one. And as these programs go, you know how the larger applications are actually built using the same concept. So we're talking about a user. So I'll say that the user would have a name. And let us say the name is A. And a user would also have a password, correct? And let us say the password is 123. Now, the way I would check is, let us say I take an input from the user. What do I mean? Here I'll say print welcome to bank. Remember what we did earlier? Print enter username. And then I'll say print enter password. So how do I capture this team? So if I just run it as is, it'll just print nothing for me. It says welcome to the bank, enter username, enter password. Okay. So for me, what is important is the user has to enter this information. How do I do it? Very simple. So I'll say user is entering, right? I don't know who the user is. So you say user x equals, in this case, I think this is very simple. Input, enter this username. And then similarly, I'll say UP equals enter password. Okay. Now, at this point, I'll just say username you entered is comma user X. Okay. Password you entered Should we show it, team? No. So I'll say something like this. Okay. Now let us see what happens. Let's read through this code before we do the execution. Where does my logic start from? Line 5. There's nothing in line 1 to 4. User 1 is A, password is 123. This is my database of expected user credentials. So if you log into Google or Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever be it, somewhere it needs to go and check if this credentials and those credentials have matched. This is the one thing that helps us to do that. Database of expected user credentials. For this example, we are hard coding it. For a different, I mean, as in the real case, you would see that it has to fetch using different services. Now, let us run this code. So it says, welcome to the user, enter username, enter password, enter username. So at this point, you know, what was not good looking good is, let's stop this. I'm going to comment this because I'm getting those below. Okay. And let us rerun this code. Welcome to the bank, enter username. I'll say enter password, blah, blah. Username you entered is KK, password you entered is blah, blah. And that's it. But what is it that I want to do? I want to confirm if the user has entered the right details or not. So here comes the magic. If I'll say if user X equals user 1, all right, then I will print actually I need to do it for both. Can I show you a simple if and then come back here, team? New, let's say, don't worry, new Python 5 py06 underscore hyphen if statement. So what is the if statement, team? In our regular programming, we need to compare information strongly. So how do we compare information? Let's say A equals to 12 and now B equals to 21. Now I want to know which is smaller, which is bigger, and Python gives you those basic comparators. If I say if A is less than B, that's a print. I'll say A is less than B. Okay. Now, if A equals to B, these indents are very, very important in Python. I'll inform you. Now, for equal to, we use a double equation. And I'll say A is equal to B. If A is greater than B, A is greater. At any given point, these are the only three options that A and B, two variables, can have. Either one is less than the other, one is more than the other, or they're both the same. Any programming language has this basic conditional comparison statement called an if statement. It says if this condition is true. What is the condition? The text that I highlighted. If the statement is true, then we let it do certain things. If it is not, then it will not. Now, in this case, what do we know? Is A and B, A is less than B, then only this statement line 7 will get printed. No other statement will come. Now, what if I make them equal? A is equal to B. What if I make this lesser? So at a given point, only one of these statements is able to work. That is a condition. Now the same condition I'm trying to do here. This condition is a basic if statement. Now comes if or else. Okay. So let us say my day equals sunny. So I will say if my day equals sunny, then print go out for a swim. Else, now then comes the else. I'll say stay home for a week. So the difference here is very simple, team. Unlike here, there are, of course, it's a text here. It's not number that we do. The difference here is either my day is sunny or it can be anything else, right? And let me use both cases. Most important, team, you cannot use the same equal to where we had a right side of the equation content go into the left side. In a comparison, we need to use double equal. It says I'm not putting value, I'm just saying if both are same. The left and the right are the same or not. So anytime you want to compare numbers or information, especially text or so on and so forth, you use a double equal. So if my day equals sunny, then we do this. Now comes the else part. So what am I saying? There's only one condition. Is it sunny or not? If it is sunny, do this. If it is not sunny, do the other thing. So that's a choice. It gives us an option to choose. Okay, everyone? So that's primarily basically what an if statement is. Now, what I could do, another thing. Just imagine, I'll add my mood is good. Okay. Everyone with me? Understanding the logic? Yes, the format syntax is we using a colon after the end of if and after the end of else. My mood is good. So I will say if my day is sunny and my mood is equal to good, I'll say go out for a swim and stay out for a while. Okay. And I'll tell you what I'm doing with this. Else ampersand. No. I'm just writing it rather than talking. It's easier sometimes. Just it's not sunny or it's not good. Okay. Now look at this combination still. The combinations are very simple. Okay. The first one is if it's saying if my day is sunny, do this, else do this. You can have multiple statements within it. Now I added a new thing called good. Now I want to compare, rather join two conditions together and say, hey, you know what, if my mood is good and if it is sunny, I want to go out for a swim and stay out for a while. So how do you compare more than two things at a time using the and? What does and say? This statement must be true and this statement should be true then I'll do this. If none of these or both of these are not true, then I'll stay home. Now look at the other option. I'm saying either of this. I hope it's either sunny or my mood is good. If either of them happen, I'll go out and step out for a bit. So now it's sunny or good. Let us see what comes out. Can you all try and do the same one in code Java also? Line 26, there's an issue. Let's see. Unsupported types for ampersand string. So I thought it was double string. Oh, maybe just a burst. That's the syntax between Java and Python. So A is greater than B, G, go out for a swim, and stay out for a while. Let us try stepping out for it. Now let us say it is gloomy and it's pretty bad. Then what would happen? See the same program, stay home for a read, just stay home. Let us try stepping out for a bit. Why does it say let us try stepping out for a bit? My day is sunny or my mood is good. It's neither. So why will you step out? Oh, my day is sunny, team. I'm sorry, I changed it wrong place. So it should be gloomy here. Same type and sunny regularly continues. So if it's gloomy and your mood is bad, then you will always going to be stay home. But let us say if at least my mood is good. Stay home for a read, just stay home. Let us try stepping out for a bit. Okay. Or if it is sunny, but my mood is totally off. Okay. So go out for a swim or just stay home. Let us try stepping out for a bit. See how the same program is giving us different outputs based on what you gave as your inputs. That becomes our main logic stage. It's like functions. You say what goes in as inputs to it. In this case, I'm saying if it is sunny and if my mood is good or bad. Okay. And as an output comes what to do. Isn't that cute? And just imagine large programs that can run on multiple data, healthcare, financial, retail sector. There's so much data, team. So how do you put all that? It is through the simple advance. Now ready for bank app. I'm going to complete this at least in Python and expect you all to try the same in Java, please. Okay. So I'll put C, Control C, Control A, Control C, and Control. Any questions so far? I'm going to take another 5-10 minutes and then off team. What is the syntax for not equal to? Yeah, not equal to is exclamation equal. We'll explore a little bit as we go. Now, look at my logic here. User login, user checks balance, user makes withdrawal deposit. First, I want the user to log in. So how does the user log in? Using these commands. User 1 is A, password is 1. Print welcome to the bank. Now look at this. Input is a command that is built into Python. Like print prints whatever we want. Type gives me the type of that variable. If tells me to go through a condition and so on. All input tells me take the input from the user and put that into UX. Take another input from the user called password, put that into UP. Once I have this, I'll say this is what you enter. Now the logic is if the username matches and the user password, which is P1 equals user password, then we're all set. Username and password matched, print welcome to the. Now else, what do you want to say, developers? As a good developer, what do you say? Or you know what, get out, you're a hacker, don't come back. I don't like you as a customer. What would you say to a customer? You'll say, please try again, right? I want to repeat this twice. And I'll say, print, try up to 3 times. That's my logic. Yet to implement. But so that I don't forget, I wrote it as a small comment. Same thing, yet to implement. So the same YTI, if you call it, this is also yet to implement. Yet is. Oopsie. Oh, yet to implement. Yet to implement. These are features. How we can add them eventually, slowly, one after the other. Now look at this logic. Both the username and passwords that I entered match to sign me in, else it will sign me out. What login declined? Sorry, Stephen, I didn't understand. You're saying login decline. Sorry, incorrect login. Please try again. You were answering to it. All right. Now let's try this team. Remember, my correct ones are A1, 2, 3. That is expected. Let's try with the right correct run. Why is it showing me this? A is greater than B, the previous one, because it's pointing to that. Anytime you're working on a new one team, let's right click on it, go to the run. Let's try A and 1, 2, 3. Username you entered is A, password you entered is also. Username and password match, welcome to the bank. And here I want to say welcome to the bank, comma, what's the username? UX. Okay. Now, can anyone explain to me this comma difference and this comma difference? At least think out loud along with me. This comma after bank is there in this double quotes. Anything in the double quotes, you ignore and use them as they are. This comma is used to join two parts of the string together. The first part that is printing this, the second part that is printing this. Okay. My ifs is giving me a direction. It's saying if the condition is true, go here. If it is false, go a different way. That is what my if is true or false. Okay, everyone. Like plus in Java, exactly. So that's concatenating. Now let us run this code. Enter username. I'm going to enter wrong credentials. Username is incorrect login. Please try again. Try up to 3 times. It does not let me keep on trying, but at least it does not let me log in with incorrect details, right? So what if I enter A and I enter a wrong password? Incorrect login. So you have the power to control how applications can behave. Now the same, you can do it in Java, and I want you to try this. So I'm going to put J07 straight away. Underscore, what is this? Bank cap 2. The only thing that you may not know is how to take inputs from the user. So I'll say here string user X, comma, string user P. See, the approach itself has changed with Java. We have to declare it first, then I have to enter, right? So for this, what we use is called scanner P. Scanner, whatever we enter into a keyboard equals to new scanner system input. Let me import this. I'll explain this to you. It's a very simple concept. We will start talking a lot about jars and what we are importing here and so on. Java is a unstructured library. It's a bunch of stuff. And there are a lot of contributors to Java. Each company or each group trying to say, I'll add this, and so on. So they come in as something called as jar files or Java archived resources. They're like reusable libraries, distributed link libraries. So these DLLs are all structured as functions. So you can call them as you know. Java util scanner is such a function. So when I say system.out.println, it is system.out means it is printing out onto the print statement into console. When I say system.in, I'm taking an input t. So now what I could do is I could basically say so and I'll say ux equals our KB, whatever keyboard dot next in next string. See, next is the most important one. So it takes whatever we give as the input from below. So system.out.println, and let's print out the statement. We'll know what's coming. So that's my code. The only problem is UP is not used and KB may not have been closed. So press KB leaked is never closed here. The scanner which was open, I closed it at the end. So small ones, simple ones, I'll explain. There's nothing big to get complicated. I'm just trying to use the code. There's a challenge on UP because we did not use it anywhere or initialize it. Now I'm getting to enter the username. I'll say KK. So whatever I'm entering, I'm able to capture it. So with this, can you implement the same code that we did in Python? Okay. That is one. And tomorrow I'll try and give you a few more assignments, team. Especially once I do a little bit more, there's a lot of interesting assignments that will come here. Any questions? All the videos so far, I've put it onto YouTube channel. Hope you're all subscribed so you get it. What else? Team, let me assign one assignment at least. So things will get going for you. Assign weekend or not. So take input from user, like Monday through Sunday, whatever. And print out if it is a weekend or not. 5 days are weekdays, 2 days are weekends. So if a user says today is Tuesday or Wednesday or so, it should print and tell me if it's a weekday or weekend. And I want you to see if we can write programs for it. Now you'll notice that there are multiple ways to approach it. Larger code, smoother code, shorter but more complex code, faster code, confusing code. So variations, but the approach of getting that logic there. I want you to do this both in Java and Python. Team, I'll have two poll questions while I wait for any questions from your end, please. Bear with me, team. Important ones. Oops. Team, I'm sharing one poll with you all. Please let me know what's happening. That's one. And got only 60% votes in team. I have 2 more minutes before I have to jump into other things as well. Please, very quick. Speed is the essence of the game today as well. Got 70% votes in. It's very simple team. How's it going with the sessions? Are you able to understand? Are you able to practice? Yes, no, partially. Please let me know, everyone. Can I quickly end this poll? I'm seeing at least 30% of you not responded on it. There's nothing much, just a click away for you all. Just one click, team. It's a poll response. That's it. I'm closing it now. Thanks, team. Almost 80% have voted. I hope you can see it. So glad at least 3/4 of you are following it. Yes, the speed also is gradually increasing. 1/4 of you partially, and that's one thing I definitely want to improve. So please practice, team. And do remember that programming coding takes 2-3 rounds to be able to get comfortable. Sorry, some of you are not able to click on that option for some reason, and I think that was the issue there. Last poll, team, because this is important. Java and Python together collectively at the same time. Is it tough the way you're doing right now? Is it actually making things easy? Or you're still not sure? And I'm sure some of you joining more in the beginning sessions. It's a cycle, team. I'll keep doing the trainings, you keep joining, repeating. So someday you'll get comfortable. Can I finish this poll and we'll end the session, everyone? I want to share the results as well. I know some of you could not participate by clicking, others at least. Sorry, Venkata, Mahmood, Narasimha, Shalan, Siddhi, you're not able to put that. Sure. Let me close this polls and share. So good team, almost 50% of you saying it's actually easy to learn them together. 24%, and that's a concern area for me, are saying that no, it's tough to learn them together. The remaining 30% saying still not sure, you're getting in. So keep continuing, team. Worst case, you'll repeat it, but don't give up. Everyone. There was one quick question: show or explain some things. Let me see. What was that? Can you repeat your question for me, please? I didn't do that. Yes. So here's the one: scanner system.in, enter username, and I'm saying kb.next. So what happens with this next is keyboard is the scanner command. So where you can say next int or next string and so on. Okay. So in this case, I'm taking the next string. So just say next and it will capture whatever you send in. Once you send it, you're printing. That's the simplest code you can find for scan or taking the input from the user. Okay, dokie. How you see the blank screen after the poll? I'm sorry. Now maybe. Now can you see the screen, everyone? I also copied and pasted the code in the chat. Okay. So what I was trying to add also is that if I say kb dot next int, it'll try and take the next integer. We are using a string here, and we'll experiment more of these. But primarily taking an input from the user. The user enters the input out here. Yesterday I got the mail, but today I did not get. And not the reminder email team from GoToWebinar. I'm talking about the IT Learn email with all the links and details. If not, at least please subscribe on that free videos pop-up that you'll see on IT Learn. It'll make sure that you're added to our playlist, and I can always our email list and send you the broadcast. All right, thank you everyone. Take care. We'll see you back mostly tomorrow then. Bye. Thank you all. Bye then.